bullet.
Welcome to Light of Zion. I am Bradford. Today, Brother Thomas Aladi presents a question that challenges the very foundation of your worship. Are you observing your tithes, or just paying your tithes? One leads to a contract of blessing. The other is merely a tax to a system that is passing away. Your tithes versus your tithes, which one are you observing? By tithes, we mean the conditions of the contract, the laws and regulations that bind us to Yahuwah's blessing. Yahuwah, the God of Abraham, the God of Jacob, gave his laws and regulations to Israel, his people, to keep and observe in the promised land. Observing and obeying these laws are tithes or conditions for blessings to Israel in the promised land. But breaking these tithes will lead to curses for the land and the peoples occupying the land. The land would eventually vomit out those on it who are not observing the laws and tithes for blessing in it. At Psalms 147:19-20, it is written that Yahuwah, he declares his word to Jacob, his regulations and judgments to Israel. 20. He has not done so with any other nation. They know nothing about his judgments. Praise Yah. The tithes to the blessing. To Abraham Yahuwah called and made a promise to bless him and his offspring in the land that he will give to them to inherit. Yahuwah also promised to bring blessings to all the families of the earth as a result of Abraham's obedience to him. At Genesis 12:1-3 it is written, "And Yahuwah said to Abram, Go out from your land and away from your relatives and from the house of your father to the land that I will show you. 2, I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you will become a blessing. 3, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who calls down evil on you, and all the families of the ground will certainly be blessed by means of you." The ties or channel for accomplishing this blessing of the families of the earth is to come through Abraham's chosen descendants. From Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and his 12 tribes were chosen as the source for the accomplishing of the blessing by Yahuwah. The 12 tribes of Israel thus became the chosen contractor for accomplishing Yahuwah's will and purpose on the earth. Yahuwah's will and the purpose of all he is doing is for the accomplishment of the blessing of all the families of the earth. However, other offspring from Abraham, Ishmael, Esau, Edom, and their descendants today, sought to redirect the source for the blessings to themselves. Redirecting the tithes to the blessings, Ishmael, Esau, and their descendants today refused to serve and support the chosen contractor for blessing all the families of the earth. They set traps and cause Israel's 12 tribes to become a curse in their given promised land. Thus they broke their ties to Israel for the blessing. They have established their own rules, laws, and gods to serve for their own blessing. They subjected the chosen contractor, the 12 tribes of Israel and the other families of the earth, to now become servants to them. The prophet saw this and wept at Lamentations 5:1-5, 7-8 it is written, "Remember, O Yahuwah, what has befallen us? Look and see our disgrace. 2, our inheritance, as the contractor, has been turned over to strangers, our houses to foreigners. 3, we have become orphans without a father. Our mothers are like widows. 4, we must pay to drink our own water, and our own wood comes at a price. 5, those pursuing us are at our neck. We are weary, but we are given no rest. 7, our forefathers who sinned are no more, but we must bear their errors. 8 servants now rule over us. There is no one to snatch us from their hand. Redirecting the ties to the blessings will not succeed. Ishmael, Esau, and their descendants today have established religions that use Yahuwah's laws as a tool for exploitation, requiring the 12 tribes to pay tithes to false channels while seeking a blessing that only comes through the original tie. They replaced true Israel's descendants, placed themselves as spokesmen for God in places of worship, and have taken over the promised land. They do not observe the holy laws and regulations of the land. They do not truly know of the contract agreement of Yahuwah with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob concerning their chosen descendants, from the 12 tribes of Israel. Restoring the tithes to the blessing. Yahuwah, as the God that tell the future from the beginning, foretold to Abraham that it will be until the 4th generation of his chosen offspring in the promised land will they serve to accomplish his will, the promised blessing. At Genesis 15:16 it is foretold, "But they will return here in the 4th generation, because the error of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure." Yes, the enemies of the 12 tribes will continue to exploit and hinder the blessing plan of Yahuwah until Israel's 4th generation in the promised land. By the 4th generation, Israel's chosen ones would have been taught and learned to fear Yahuwah, keep and observe all his given laws and regulations in the promised land, and live. As it is written, Isaiah 54:13-14, "And all your sons will be taught by Yahuwah, and the peace of your sons will be abundant." 14. You will be firmly established in righteousness. You will be far removed from oppression. You will fear nothing, and have no cause for terror, for it will not come near you. 15. If anyone should attack you, it will not be at my orders. Whoever makes an attack on you will fall because of you. 16. Look, I myself created the craftsman, who blows on the charcoal fire, and his work produces a weapon. I myself also created the destructive man, to bring ruin. Yes, by Yahuwah's order, Israel's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generations of Israel was attacked because of our errors that is like an incurable disease. Restoring the tithes to the blessing. The prophets revealed this at Jeremiah 30:12-13. For this is what Yahuwah says, "There is no cure for your breakdown. Your wound is incurable." 13. There is no one to plead your cause, no means of healing your ulcer. There is no cure for you. However, Yahuwah foretold of the mercy he will extend to the repented ones from Israel's descendants. These ones would be regathered for a 4th generation at the end of the 2,000 years sentence and disciplinary time recommended by Yahuwah. The tithes to the blessings. Yes, Israel was giving Yahuwah's contract, his righteous laws, commands, and regulations to keep in the given promised land. These are the tithes or tithes to obtaining the blessing for all the families of the earth from the Holy Land. As revealed about the promised land in Ezekiel 36:13, this is what the sovereign Lord Yahuwah says, "Because they are saying to you, 'You are a land that devours people and bereaves your nations of children,' that is, if they do not observe the laws and regulations of the land." Israel was kicked out for not continuing with the keeping of the laws and regulations of the land until we have learned our lesson. At Ezekiel 20:10-13 it is written, "So I brought them out of the land of Egypt and led them into the wilderness." 11. I then gave them my statutes and made my judicial decisions known to them, so that the man who follows them may have life by them. 12. I also gave my Sabbaths to them as a sign between me and them, so that they would know that I, Yahuwah, am the one sanctifying them. 13. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my statutes, and they rejected my judicial decisions, which if a man follows them, he will have life by them. They utterly profaned my Sabbaths. So I promised to pour out my fury on them in the wilderness to exterminate them. The rebel of Israel will not inherit the blessing. Yahuwah foretold of the extermination of the unrepentant rebels from Israel's descendants before the gathering for the 4th generation in the land. At Isaiah 10:21-23 it is written, "Only a remnant will return, the remnant of Jacob to the mighty God." 22. For though your people, O Israel, are as the grains of sand of the sea, only a remnant of them will return. An extermination has been decided on, and justice will engulf them. 23. Yes, the extermination decided on by the sovereign Lord, Yahuwah of armies, will be carried out in the entire land. Yes, this judiciary decision will be executed by Yahuwah, using his angelic armies at the conclusion of the 2,000 years sentence on Israel. That appointed time will end in the year 2033. The year 2033 is not just a date, it is the expiration of a 2,000-year sentence. Peoples of the other nations, Ishmael, Esau, etc., and their descendants who keep opposing and rejecting the contactor, Israel's chosen ones will also not inherit the blessing from Abraham. In fact, they will all be removed, yes, exterminated as foretold to make way for the blessing of the families of the earth, through the foretold channel, Abraham's chosen offspring. As revealed by the prophet Jeremiah 25:31-33, a noise will resound to the ends of the earth, for Yahuwah has a controversy with the nations. He will personally pass judgment on all humans, and he will put the wicked to the sword, declares Yahuwah. 32. This is what Yahuwah of armies says. Look, a calamity is spreading from nation to nation, and a great tempest will be unleashed from the remotest parts of the earth. 33. And those slain by Yahuwah in that day will be from one end of the earth clear to the other end of the earth. They will not be mourned, nor will they be gathered up or buried. They will become like manure on the surface of the ground. Will you inherit the blessing from Abraham? The appointed time for the blessing of all the families of the earth, because of Abraham's obedience and faith in Yahuwah, is fast approaching. The appointed time is year 2033 and beyond. Those who exercise faith in the promise made and the channel for the blessing are the ones that will share in the blessing of a righteous new earth. These will be ushered into a new world of peace among mankind, righteousness, and a satisfying life based on upholding the laws and regulations of Yahuwah for the earth. Would you bring in the tithes, or would you continue to pay tithes, taxes to the false channels for Yahuwah's blessing? These false governmental and religious channels are there to mislead and keep exploiting the masses to be servants to them. They have not and will not lead to the establishing of Yahuwah's blessing for the families of the earth. Bring in the tithes, not the tithes. Therefore all are now called on to bring in the tithes for the blessing, and not the tithes. Return to Yahuwah, and he will usher in the foretold blessing. At Malachi 3:5-7 it is written, I will come near to you for judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, against the adulterers, against those who take false oaths, against those who defraud the hired worker, the widow, and the fatherless child, and against those who refuse to help the foreigner. These have not feared me, says Yahuwah of armies. 6. For I am Yahuwah, I do not change, and you are sons of Jacob, you have not yet come to your finish. 7. From the days of your forefathers you have turned aside from my regulations and have not kept them. Return to me, and I will return to you, says Yahuwah of armies. But you say, how are we supposed to return? By paying the tithes, taxes to these false channels, mankind is misled into robbing Yahuwah while seeking for his blessing of all the families of the earth. Malachi 3:8-12. It is written, Will a mere human rob God? But you are robbing me. And you say, how have we robbed you? In the tithes and in the contributions. 9. You are certainly cursed, for you are robbing me. Yes, the entire nation is doing so. 10. Bring the entire, tithes, not tithe, into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house, and test me out, please, in this regard. Yahuwah of armies says, to see whether I will not open to you the floodgates of the heavens, and pour out on you a blessing, until there is nothing lacking. 11. And I will rebuke the devouring one, governments and false religions for you, and it will not ruin the fruit of your land, nor will the vine in your field be fruitless, says Yahuwah of armies. 12. All the nations will have to declare you happy, blessed, for you will become a land of delight, says Yahuwah of armies. Will you do the right things for the blessing from Yahuwah? All are commanded to bring the entire tithe, the true connection to the blessing, into the storehouse. rather than the empty tithe demanded by men for receiving the blessing. Seek first for the establishment of the kingdom government of Yahuwah, God and his righteousness in his chosen territory over the earth. Seek and support the chosen sons of God, Yahushua and his associate, to take over the rulership of the earth at the appointed time, come year 2033. Matthew 6:33. Keep on, then, seeking first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these other things, the blessing will be added to you. All are also commanded to flee from the false religious harlot, Babylon the Great, for her judgment is soon coming. Fleeing also involves stopping your support and tithes to her. Revelation 18:4-5. And I heard another voice out of heaven say, Get out of her, my people, if you do not want to share with her in her sins, and if you do not want to receive part of her plagues. 5 for her sins have massed together clear up to heaven, and God has called her acts of injustice to mind. What would you do? Bring in the tithes to the blessing, or keep paying the tithes?
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed it, I have a recommendation to make. I recommend that you get a copy of this book. Yahuwah, our God, is magnifying his book of the law. It's titled Yahuwah has magnified his book of the law. Negro, you are his chosen race. Get a copy so that you can understand the scriptures better. I also recommend that you get a copy of this book. It's titled 30-Day Walking Challenge with God, a devotional prophetic countdown preparation for the year 2033. Yahuwah, our God, is magnifying his word, and he's making his appointed time known to us. So it's good that we restore our relationship with our God. And this book will help you to do that. A 30-day walking challenge with God. So that you can be in line with what our God is doing. He is making his timetable or timeline known to us. We have to get ourselves prepared as obedient children to return back to our God. This book is designed to help you to awaken and restore your relationship with the living God. Until I come to you next time, I hope you remain blessed and at peace. Keep paying attention for new videos by subscribing and sharing this video, and help others to also benefit from them. Until I come to you next time, thank you.